Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. Kind of wanted to make a little bit of a Game 4 preview. At the end, I'll talk about some other things, but I wanted to talk about this because this is a big game. Big game for the Pacers, big game for the Knicks. I think Born Ready Jones made a good point in his video where he was saying that the Knicks have to win this game, but so do we. And if we win this game, Knicks fans will start to turn on the Knicks. At least they'll start to get lukewarm. Like, they won't have Dallas Cowboy fan syndrome anymore. Because as being someone who's lived in New York for my entire fucking life, if it's one thing I know is that Knicks fans are very volatile. When the going is good, it's great, but when it's going bad, it's fucking horrible. So I look to see if the Pacers can win this game, because if they do, and especially if they win Game 5, like if the Pacers win Game 5, suddenly you're going to see a big change in Knicks fans, I think. Jalen Brunson's been very good. Donte DiVincenzo's been very good. Josh Hart is out-rebounding us by him fucking self. There's a lot of things in this game that we have to see. However, before I get into that, Aaron Nesmith and Tyrese Haliburton are both game-time decisions for Game 4. So I think Haliburton and Nesmith are both at the very least going to try to play. I can't see Haliburton sitting out. I think he's too competitive for that. I think he's at the very least going to try to go. Same thing with Nesmith. I would be very, very surprised if Nesmith sits out, but just keep that in mind. They're both game time decisions. But for Game 4, there's a kind of a bit of a to-do list. And unfortunately, that to-do list is very, very strenuous. We need TJ McConnell to show up and Obi Toppin to show up off the bench. They were kind of quiet in Game 3. They were very quiet. And we still managed to win that game. However, if for whatever reason Tyrese Haliburton and Aaron Nesmith are not playing, okay, we're going to need Andrew Nembhard and TJ McConnell and even Ben Shepherd to step up in a big fucking way. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jarris Walker get minutes in this game. I know that sounds crazy, but if we need defense, like flat out fucking defense, I could see Jarris Walker getting minutes if Tyrese Haliburton and Aaron Nesmith don't end up playing. Now, with that being said, speaking of defense, okay, Siakam, Miles, Nesmith, and Andrew Nembhard, okay, cannot, under any circumstance, get into foul trouble to the point where you all have 5 fouls. Now, that hasn't happened yet. In Game 3, it was very close. I fucked up in the last video. I said there was 15 fouls between 3 players, okay? It was 13. Okay, excuse the fuck out of me. Aaron Nesmith had 3 fouls instead of 5. But it's the idea that Siakam had 5 fouls in Game 3, Nesmith had 5 fouls in Game 3, Nembhard had 5 fouls in Game 3, and Nesmith had 3 fouls in Game 3. Miles Turner is not out of the woods on this either, because he has a tendency to foul, granted, players that are better than him, but I don't think Isaiah Hartenstein nor Precious Achiuwa are actually better than Miles Turner. But it's the idea that you cannot have like double-digit foul calls between 3 players. Like, you can't have almost 20 foul calls between 3 fucking guys. You just can't do it. 13 is a lot. It's one thing to have 9, 9 or 8 or whatever, but 13 is a lot. So at that point, you're not playing defense. At that point, you're playing slap the fucking shit out of the defender or the offensive player and hope he fucking misses. Now, I will say this. The Knicks have figured it out that if Jalen Brunson doesn't have it going, Donte DiVincenzo does. So those are the 2 main guys you have to shut down. I don't know what Rick's game plan is for Game 4, but if you are not going to contain Brunson, you have to contain DiVincenzo. I think as long as you don't let Jalen Brunson get to the free throw line, I think you're all right. But that's the problem. The problem is they keep letting Jalen Brunson get into the fucking free throw line area and then post up Andrew Nembhard and get a free post fade or whatever. Like, Jalen Brunson loves that shit for whatever reason. If he gets to the free throw line, it's fucking automatic. The other thing I'd be looking out here for is Pascal Siakam. OG Anunoby is most likely not going to play in Game 4, so I think he's listed as out already for Game 4. But if that's the case, and Josh Hart is playing defense on Pascal Siakam needs to go fucking crazy. I'm sorry, Josh Hart is what, 6'4", 6'5", and Siakam is like 6'8", 6'9". I mean, I'm looking for post-fade city from Pascal Siakam. And I actually think Siakam's going to have a big game. I feel like this is the game where Siakam turns it on. And if that's the case, if Halliburton plays, I'm looking for a big game out of Halliburton as well. Really, we got to have all hands on deck for the next 2 games. Shepard's going to have to be good. Nesmith's going to have to be good if he plays. Halliburton's going to have to be great if he fucking plays. Siakam's going to have to be great. Miles is going to have to be better than 6 and 7. Okay, like Miles Turner, I'm looking for hopefully to get another like 20 and 12 game out of him. We haven't. If we could just get like one great game out of Siakam and Miles Turner in the next 2 games, I think that's good enough for a win. Really what we got to do is like, I know we've spent most of the season outscoring our opponents, but in the playoffs, defense matters. And it's pretty crazy to me because not a lot of teams have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals without having at least a top 15 defense. Our defensive rating in the regular season was 24th out of 30. So if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, like that's a pretty good moniker for a team that is not very good defense. I mean, Halliburton's fucking terrible defensively. Like in these playoffs, he has been. I get that he's injured, but he gets so lost in switches and pick and roll defense and screens and shit that it is actually Trae Young level bad. And it can't be that way. Like, Halliburton has to play defense better this game. I understand that he's injured. He's got the hamstring. He's got the back. I know his feet supposedly hurt, right? But, as Born Ready Jones says, we in the fucking trenches. You know what I'm saying? We're in crunch time now. And, at this point, I've said this in previous videos, at this point, anything that we win, I think a lot of people weren't expecting us to really get out of the first round. So the idea that we're in the second round and potentially have the opportunity to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, at this point, anything we do is extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, I'm as a fan, I'm happy. Like, I'm happy with the season, but I would like to see us go further. If we can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's a huge statement to the rest of the league. And, it just, everything's got to be perfect. As shitty as that is to say. And for the love of God, we cannot let Josh Hart grab 18 fucking rebounds, okay? Like, that's unacceptable. A 6'4" small forward is out here getting 18 fucking rebounds. I mean, when Siakam's out there, Ijax is out there, Miles, if Jalen Smith would fucking play, I don't know what Rick Carlisle's deal is with Jalen Smith, but we cannot let him grab 18 rebounds by himself. That is unacceptable. That is fucking egregious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand Josh Hart's a good player, but 18 rebounds out of a small forward? I know we're bad at rebounding, but we're not that fucking bad. So that's another thing. Is like, we got to contain Josh Hart. Siakam's got to go crazy. We can't foul on defense. All right, we need to knock down our shots. We need to knock down our threes. TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin need to show up because they're a big key to success in this game. Like, we could blow the Knicks out. Like, we have that ability to blow the Knicks out, but our starters have to play well, okay? Our star players have to actually play like star players, and our bench unit has to score, okay? TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd, all these guys need to come in and take care of business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I'm asking a lot at this point, but they need to come in and take care of business. So I don't really know how this game's going to go. We're playing at Gamebridge, so we need to take advantage of home court. I don't think Dante DiVincenzo's going to have another game where he goes off for borderline fucking 40. Okay, the shots he was making in Game 3 were ridiculous. I mean, it was Klay Thompson-esque. Like, it didn't matter what you did to him. He was just fucking making them. So, if you can kind of run Dante DiVincenzo off the three-point line and try to make him, score around the basket and shit, I think that's a win. Unfortunately, against the Knicks, I think on Brunson, I think you could get away with playing Brunson one-on-one at this point. It's Dante DiVincenzo that I'm worried about. And I know that's crazy to say. The Knicks are slowly putting together one of the best backcourts in the East, especially if they do this next season. But it's just the idea. Jalen Brunson's at least injured or hobbled at the very least, right? Dante DiVincenzo's not. Dante DiVincenzo is coming out and playing for fucking blood. And we're kind of just oh yeah, whatever, just let him fucking go. We can't do that. You know what I'm saying? We can't have this lackadaisical coverage of Dante DiVincenzo. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what this game's going to bring, but one thing that I was thinking is like, if this team is this good in the playoffs and our defense is fucking ass, okay? I know the Suns just fired Frank Vogel, but if we could bring Frank Vogel on as an assistant coach, I think that would fix a lot of our problems. And the reason I say that is because when Frank Vogel was the head coach of the Pacers, granted, we ran a half-court offense, but when Frank Vogel was our head coach, we had the second best defense in the NBA and for, I think, 2 consecutive years. We made the Eastern Conference Finals twice. If we could bring in Frank Vogel as an assistant coach to help with defense, I think it would do wonders for Tyrese Halliburton. And on top of it, Paul George loves Frank Vogel. I love the idea of Paul George coming back to Indy. I know it's probably not going to happen, but if we make the Eastern Conference Finals and we bring back Frank Vogel and we have Tyrese Halliburton, and I mean, granted, we don't have Ben Mathurin right now, which is hurting my fucking soul, but it would be a nice coach for Ben Mathurin as well to have Paul George in practice. I think that would do fucking wonders for Ben Mathurin's development. And it would also give Paul George a chance to make his relationship with Indy whole again. Because if we add Paul George to this roster in some way, shape, or form, capacity, whatever, I know it's unlikely. He's most likely going to go to Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to offer him a max contract. But it's a good feel-good story, and I like that. I like a good feel-good story. But it's just the idea... like anything we can do to try to entice Paul George to come back to Indy, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fuck. I mean, bring Roy Hibbert's fucking fiance back or some shit. I don't know. But it's just the idea. Tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'll probably make a video after the game because this game's at 3:30 today, depending on what happens. It is Mother's Day. So, depending on what happens, if I even get to see the game at 3:30, I'm hoping I will. I could watch it on my phone, but that's kind of disrespectful on Mother's Day to be sitting at the table and watching the fucking Pacers game. But I'm not going to do that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I hope we win today. I think we have a good chance to win today, and if we can win today, I think it'll be a huge momentum changer in the series. Now that we got 1 against them, I'm like, yeah, like we can get 2, and we got 1 game against them with Siakam getting into fucking foul trouble, Nembhard getting into foul trouble, and with TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin playing like fucking dog shit. So, at this point, I think the sky's the limit. So, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.